with another banger. Hit that like, sub it up, the react files. Hit that like, sub it up, the react files. Y'all feel me? Let's run it.
Candace Owens says Charlie Kirk could potentially be a time traveler, and I'm gonna go ahead and debunk the debunkers because I actually have receipts. Now, she shares these text messages where he says, I think I'm a time traveler, this is my home, I think you found me, etc. Sounds completely outrageous, right? But not so fast. Did you guys know there are several declassified CIA programs that deal with time travel, starting with this one called the Gateway Process, in which is a program where they use hemisync audio, aka frequencies, to synchronize the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of your brain to alter consciousness. Now, it also says that reality is an egg-shaped hologram projected from an infinite absolute energy field beyond space-time. But here's the interesting part, if it hasn't gotten interesting already, where all events, past, present, and future, coexist as an encoded information, aka time travel, because this process actually puts you in an outer body experience where you're not experiencing time as linear, but any and everywhere all at once. Also, it says the universe functions like a binary computer, which brings us to simulation theory. And remember Elon said, we live in a simulation? Well, he just tweeted this. Most politicians are just actors on a stage. You don't see the script writers, directors, and producers who control them, aka programmers or people who control this type of technology, who can see through time, different timelines, different scenarios, outcomes, etc. Now, we're just starting to scratch the surface because a project linked to the Gateway Process is this project, Project Stargate, which they had psychic agents and remote viewers that can review different parts of the Earth, off-world locations, and even different timelines through astral projection. Now, they said they needed these types of people with these special abilities to link these projects together to make it possible. They also have Project Pegasus, where they took kids and sent them back in time. So they allegedly had this kid go to the Gettysburg Address, and Project Looking Glass, where they can review multiple timelines. Wait, hold up. Now, question. If Charlie Kirk was a time traveler and had agents around him, which he could have easily been a part of Project Pegasus, wouldn't she constitute as an agent, being that she's in this documentary called Black Start, where she's talking about EMPs? Yeah, electromagnetic pulses, alongside former CIA director James Woosley. I mean, at this point, she really reminds me of the wife in The Truman Show. And people always ask, why would they disclose anything? Well, that's because of the Freedom of Information Act, and through federal law, legally, they have to be transparent with us. Now, I can go on and on, but make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
That was a great breakdown right there. Shout out to Maverick Approach, Project Stargate, Project Looking Glass. Yeah, we've been hearing about these for a long time. I feel like Candace is just now coming around to what we've been saying for years. I like how he started talking about those Taurus fields. You know, it's toroidal.
The minute this video gets published, I know I'm going to get put on a list to be randomly drug tested at work. I work in the oil field. So Sarah, the HR lady, if you see this, and Tyler, the safety dude, if you see this, I'm not on drugs. I'm on the spectrum, okay? But I pass them every single time, so it's okay. And my boss thinks I'm hilarious. Anyway, you guys remember in 2015, something went viral on Facebook, and it was a dress. And all of us were seeing a different color. But some people were seeing black and blue. Some people were seeing white and gold. Let me show you, and tell me in the comments what color you guys see. You guys remember this? This ended relationships and friendships because we used to argue about what they see. I see gold and white, right? So now I went down the rabbit hole just to see how scientifically they are explaining this phenomenon. According to scientists, some are saying it could be because the mutation in the back of our eyes, like the cones, have mutated, so we're seeing different color combinations. But that's really weird because mutations are usually random. So if they're random in different people, that would mean that we would have seen a lot more different color combinations than we saw online of people saying, you know, just the two choices. So then I went and read another theory that stated, oh, well, it has to be with the phone and the filter, or like, you know, whatever they were viewing this picture on, depending on the filter that they were viewing it on, maybe that's why it changed colors. However, I literally asked people on my phone what color combination they saw, and each person saw something different, even though the phone is exactly the same. So I don't think that's the theory. So here's my theory, and it's just random thoughts. I think that we are living like in two separate realities, but parallel to each other, which is why we're seeing such a split in people and seeing and perceiving things so differently, even though we're watching the exact same thing. And I honestly think it had something to do with CERN turning it on, because ever since 2015, things just seemed really off. You know what I mean? Like super off. And it seems like we have two different realities. Like even with the Renee thing, some people see her hitting the police officer. Some people are like, no, she didn't hit it, even though they're watching the same video. So now I'm wondering, what if both sides are right in their own timeline? And we're just literally parallel living to people with a completely different reality than ours. Yeah, that's totally like crazy. I know it sounds insane, but like it kind of explains like the phenomenon and everything that we've been seeing around here. But I want to know what you guys think.
I feel she's definitely onto something. I can definitely see that. I see a blue and black dress. Black and blue, blue and black, however you want to call it. Let me know what you see in the comments down below. That would explain a lot. Especially with CERN and the whole incident that happened out in Minnesota. People could really see their own truths, but it's like two timelines playing simultaneously parallel to each other. I feel it's very possible. Shout out to Truth Seeker 01011. Very fascinating.
Okay. Hey, get up. Let him go. Get your ass up. You good? Okay. That's all they ask. Watch out. He's one of us. Okay. He's one of us. Okay, good. I'm one of them. You alright, dude? You alright? Come on, breathe. He's one of us. How do we know? How we know? I was with him earlier. Why you get ran out earlier? I don't know. He's one of us. I'm with them. Trust me. Okay. You know that? He's with us the whole time. You cut the story. You good? You alright, man? Hey, move back. Move back. Alright? Move back right now.
Back up. Yeah, save your Nazi. Put him in your Nazi van. Go get him some help. He needs a little bit of fucking mental health there. Don't he? Nobody got guns. So you gonna look me in the eye when you spray me? You gonna look me in the eye when you spray me? You gonna be just like the fucking bad man you see, right? Nobody got guns. Don't be scared. You gotta look at me. I'm your fucking neighbor. Put the gun down. Everybody got cameras. Everybody got cameras. And then you wear the bad guy. Yeah, I got it. You don't know what the gun does. That's a direct weapon. Everybody got cameras. You got guns. Fuck out of here. Get the tag. Get the tag. Get the tag, bitch. Get the plate.
Now, that's a new type of low right there. Because, I mean, for what? People in Minneapolis, if you move or groove and vibe and slide it, go ahead and check your circles, check your peripherals, because you could have a snake, weasel, little bitch like this guy in your circle, acting like he there to protest with y'all. When in reality, he wanted to Gestapo's his damn self. Immediately, I've been like, oh yeah, outfit is atrocious. There's no way we fighting for the same shit. We shouldn't even be in the same server for real. Like, you're part of the group, but then look who pop out the cut like Parage side. And look who does not scurry along with the group. There go my boys, what's up? Wow, big dog? Yeah, come with us, brother. And it's like, wait a second. So what did you have him out there for in the first place? Was he the one that's inciting violence? Because, I mean, if they're such domestic terrorists and so terrible, why did you trust him to be undercover by himself with no weapon? Batman could be beating the brakes off me down there in Gotham, and there's no way he would ever get this photo evidence. You posted this by choice, bitch-ass Jake Lane. You got the ops spreading your legs out, looking like you pregnant about to give a baby, and the people that you hate the most had to save you?
Go back, APAC. Go back. You're gonna sit around while you turn our children into a bunch of nigger lovers.
Oh, nah. No way. It couldn't be me. I swear to God. And the fact that you tried to play victim and then drop a quote from God, act like you not racist and a piece of shit and not going straight to hell. I don't understand. No cops were sent to help. You think they gonna help you after you was trying to beat them up on January 6th? And on top of that, where your friends at? You don't got nobody around you that can stand on business? I swear to God, son, you had your legs getting spread out. for the world to see. You a bitch. Trump continues to move in a different type of greed. He said, yeah, you know my peace board? Guess what? If you want to have a permanent stay, $1 billion. Gotta go to my account, though. That's it. That's the only way. Any country, it don't matter who. I'm just saying, you gotta wire that motherfucker. And if you don't, I don't know what's gonna happen. What's up with this whole drink whole milk? Everybody should drink milk again. It's like, where the fuck did this come from? And then this is the weirdest, most awkward. It just seems like a horror movie type of commercial for milk. And I'm just saying, you guys have 1 million files out there supposedly about child predators and child pedophilia. And this is like the creepy ass shit you guys decide like, oh yeah, this will make them drink milk. Like, nigga, this makes me scared of milk. Yeah, this dumb bitch as an ambassador. And again, it's just like, this makes me want to go the opposite way of milk. What did milk help her with? Lose the race by even more? She didn't even come in the top 5. Bitch sucks. Oh yeah, and Trump bailed a couple more people out from fraud. This latest one was this lady. This is the second time. He's like, you know what? Fuck all that. Pardon. And just because y'all care so much about fraud, I just want you to see everybody he's pardoned so far in the amounts. $660 million. Nigga walked out. Damn, I'd like to fraud some people for that amount.
Yo, the undercover protest is wild. Shout out to Lawrence Johnson. Yo, that's crazy. It couldn't have been me either. I wouldn't have been out there. But still, it definitely gives you a lot of insights to what's happening in the streets of Minnesota.
Live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you guys. Jake Lang rallied. He only has about 5 people with him. I think there's some stuff going on over there, maybe. But in terms of like Jake Lang's thing, there's only about 5 people that came with him.
Stay out of their way, bro.
Notice the look of terror on Jake Lang's face. And as he's escorted to safety, he looks like a submissive dog. And in his moment of terror, probably more terror than he's ever felt, he was embraced and saved and protected by 2 young black men. Shit makes me a little emotional. Because that's some beautiful shit. That is some shit that is so powerful that it can change people's hearts. And remember, Jake Lang posts tweets like this. White America will not go silently. God forbid a white man have a dream. White men stand up. Brown mongrels are invading white America. And he's just a pissed off white man tired of the brownification. So the fucking irony that in his moment of terror, he is protected by young black men. I cannot tell you how proud that shit makes me.
That is some beautiful stuff right there. Shout out to CFH Unfiltered, seeing the irony in this right here. It's unfortunate because Mr. Lang is still downplaying the situation and still talking reckless. I actually was watching this live. My whole thing is, if you're gonna protest, go out there, protest, and be peaceful. Don't go out there looking for trouble, because you'll find out.
David Easterwood is a pastor here. He is also the director of the field office for ICE in St. Paul. So someone who claims to worship God, teaching people in this church about God, is out there overseeing ICE agents. Think about what we've experienced. The murder of Renee Good at the hands of ICE. A Venezuelan national shot by ICE. A 6-month-old baby who almost died as a result of ICE unleashing military-grade weapons on our community. How dare you claim to be a pastor of God and you are involved in evil in our community?
I think Jesus would be understanding.
We're about worship.
These folks.
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them?
No church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
I got really fucking pissed off at the Democrat Party because the maps, the minor attracted persons shit before Trump came into office, we talked about it all the time. Now, I mean, why are we protecting? Why is the White House protecting? Just don't understand it, Ro. I can't fucking get it through my head why we would protect. The other thing is, this country has the biggest fucking problem with sex exploitation and sex trafficking in the world. We can talk about fucking Venezuela and Mexico and Ukraine and Russia and fucking China and waste, fraud, and abuse and fucking liberals this and Democrats this and Republicans, and we have a problem. We have a fucking problem in this country, and nobody's doing anything about it in government except you and Thomas Massey. What the fuck is going on?
You know how I know this? Because
is everybody in government a fucking now? What the fuck has happened?
Want to know who wrote this article in Eyes Wide Shut? Larry Salona, the same journalist who exposed Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell. Larry Salona is a veteran police reporter. He actually served as a media consultant for Kubrick on Eyes Wide Shut. And who do we see in the background as Alice Miller walking at the exclusive Christmas party thrown by Victor? Kubrick is a genius, period. I just found out that John Bonet's father dated Beth Holloway, mother of Natalie Holloway, the missing child. Worth noting, right? Isn't that interesting how that case also remains unsolved? A pink Barbie nightgown was found right next to John Bonet's body in the basement. Forensics confirmed that her blood was on it. It's very clear symbolism, specifically a man with a bull-headed mask leading the ritual at the secret society's ball. Elements surrounding the film that tried to expose the Moloch rituals. Epstein Island, there was a temple used to worship Moloch. Moloch is the demon that specializes in child sacrifice. Eyes Wide Shut is pointing to the fact that this is what the elites are worshiping in their secret society parties and rituals. Moloch is the demon of the cow or bull. This goes way back. John Benet Ramsey's grandfather. A lot of ties to North Fox Island. North Fox Island and that whole trafficking ring is Point B. John Benet Ramsey's family's vacation home is Point E. It's literally right there. It's literally across from each other. Been theorized that James Dudley Ramsey has been involved in constructing, planning, and operating, and/or the airstrip on North Fox Island. And the grandfather worked in Nebraska before Michigan. Shocker that Omaha had its own ring as well, right? Also, there might be some confusion to this, but John Bonet's autopsy revealed acute and chronic vaginal trauma. That means she was being essayed repeatedly and long-term. Medical evidence paints the whole picture without any doubt. Medical evidence shows a lot.
And that was Kubrick's last movie. Shout out to Savente Chanel. The way she explains it makes a lot of sense. It's crazy it took all these years to really understand what that movie was about.
United Nations Agenda 21, Sustainable Development. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no. It really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization. And globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. The principles are public-private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order to cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world while we are moving towards the end game. We are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight.
He's just arrogant and a very big bully. He does not care of anything. His way of saying things are just so specific and so disrespectful and hateful that it's just hurting everybody around him.
I don't know what he's thinking, and I really don't want to have him being in my head or in my voice at all. He makes so much, he puts so much pressure on us as a people, and I think it's surreal and it's unreal to be part of that circus he's doing right now.
Well, I mean, a tariff of 25% is nothing against the free world, is it? I think that's the way you have to look at it. This is a fight for freedom. It's for NATO. It's for everything the Western Hemisphere has been fighting for since World War II.
We have 4 members of the PayPal Mafia in the cabinet orchestrating a purchase backed by Promono's Capital and Coinbase Ventures to have a Prospera-like city in Greenland. No, by the way, last month, we pardoned the very man, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who helped create the framework for Prospera. The framework creator pardoned. We announced we're going to Greenland. Ron's investing in Greenland. Ken Howry's confirmed to be able to be the Greenlandian communication for us, also that we can create a freedom city in Greenland. Guys, when people talk about like world order stuff, when people talk about technocracies and plutocracies and all these crazy words that, you know, the first time you heard them, you had to look up the definition of them. That's what this is. That's what we're looking at. And we want to bring this very thing to, and this is the big point, to America. So we're pivoting to Greenland. And Greenland is one place all the billionaires are excited about. They're investing in the tech, they're investing in the mining, they're investing in everything that has to do with the Freedom City, because they want this 1% business tax, no FDI regulation, crypto first, no national law, no red tape, make death optional type vibe.
Wow, I didn't know all that stuff was already in place. Shout out to Zachy Forst. No wonder they want that place so bad. This is one of the craziest sequence of events you've ever seen in geopolitics. You see this tweet? I greatly respect the fact that all scheduled hangings, which were to take place yesterday, over 800 of them, have been cancelled by the leadership of Iran. Thank you. So Trump has now cancelled attacking Iran because Iran has cancelled the scheduling of the 800 people that they were going to hang publicly, right? That's the story we're being told, right? Iranian agencies released clip of Mossad agents they captured during an anti-regime protest in Iran after a tip from the Denmark Intelligence Agency, DDIS. Important here to note that Donald Trump threatened Greenland and Denmark strongly objected to it by calling it disintegration of NATO. So basically what's happened, Trump threatened Denmark with Greenland, right? It got so bad that now Denmark has realized there's nothing they can do. Trump really wants this. So in return, they decided, you know what? This is how you want to play it? We're going to show you. So they now sent Mossad a list. They now sent Iran a list of all the Mossad agents in Iran. Now, this is very important. Denmark is trying to hurt America by telling Iran where Israeli agents are. I don't know why Israeli agents, America, you see? So Denmark now goes and tells Iran where all the Mossad agents are. So Trump and his people get ready to strike Iran. And then Iran sends a cable to Mossad, to the Israeli intelligence, and say, if you attack us, we will publicly hang every single Mossad agent we have caught. So Mossad now calls Trump and they say, abort, abort. If we strike, they're going to publicly kill all our people. And you know why that's a bad thing? See, those Mossad agents have families in Israel. So imagine Israeli people now happy, we're attacking Iran, only to watch their family members literally being hanged on TV in Iran. So that's the whole reason why Trump canceled the bombing of Iran, because Denmark exposed all the Israeli agents in Iran to hurt America, because America wants to take. So my question is, how did Denmark know that Mossad was in Iran in the first place? Wow, I'm telling you, it's chestnut checkers. Shout out to Gothica Boki too, with some strong intel right here. Sounds like Iran and Denmark might have saved us from World War III.
The civil authorities have issued a required monthly test for all of Minnesota beginning at 1:45 p.m. and ending at 2:45 p.m. This is a coordinated monthly test of the broadcast stations in your area and emergency management. If this had been an actual emergency, such as a tornado, official messages would have followed the alert tone. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system. This test is from the Minnesota Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Normally, monthly tests are sent the first Wednesday of the month. This is only a test, no action required.
Okay, guys, this is actually getting fucking terrifying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you live in the neighborhood? Yep, this is my block, this is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood's showing up.
You guys had a lot of people out here, right?
At least 30 or more. Yeah. 40 or 50.
That's pretty good for a quick turnout.
I'm gonna show you guys just how wild and not normal this ridiculous snow is in Russia. Because right about when it started to snow, something was going on, and something was going on with what they use to record the frequency and resonance of the earth. But it's not just Russia with all this snow. Just a couple days ago in California, they were finding this black dust all over their cars and their Porsches that was in the air. And it was in the air accompanied by this crazy fog, which keeps coming out of nowhere. They call it, radiation fog, which is weird because they never used that term the last 30 years of my life, just this first year. And then of course we had it in California and then Florida, and now these weird particles are popping up everywhere. Completely unrelated, we have these ridiculous flus, and I'm hearing that hospitals are just they're over capacity in all these hospitals. We have children and teenagers dying by this flu, and unrelated, we had this thing again, which popped up outside of a hospital. No one knows why. So what's crazy about all the snow you're seeing on the screen, I mean, this is 10, 20 foot deep. I mean, it's burying houses. There's burying literal cars. And like I said before, when it starts snowing like ridiculously, the Schumann frequency blacked out and nobody knows why. But one thing I've found over the years of studying the Schumann frequency is that whenever it blacks out, weather goes absolutely insane. So is it a coincidence that the Schumann frequency blacks out and we see a weather event unlike anything that we have ever even seen before? You know what I always say, right? Everything is energy. It's all frequency, unrelated to these wild clouds that we see all the time.
Yeah, those clouds look wild. Shout outs to the real Mo Henry. 20 feet of snow. I agree. We haven't heard about this radioactive fog until like last year. Like, it's funny. All these new phenomenons. With all these new phenomenas, suddenly there's a scientific explanation. Very interesting.
What's really going on in the skies of California? The next two videos are going to make you really question that. And these are from two very different witnesses who captured something odd in the sky. Is it a rocket breaking apart? Or is it maybe CERN trying to open a portal? We'll never know. But take a look, comment below. Let us know what you think.
It could be Project Bluebeam or something. Shout outs to the Paranormal Link.
The Grand Canyon is the real Giza Plateau. Look, this is what we mean when we say meltology. All of this area is desert because there was a motherboard meltdown. The Earth is a grid, a motherboard. It has melted down several times. This is from one of the most recent meltdowns. After Israel was divided within, it imploded and became open for attack. As you can see, all these people are Shemites. Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites are still all from Shem, even though they were supposedly enemies. Like Ashur, who fathered the Assyrians, who were also enemies. So all Israelites are Shemites, but not all Shemites are Israelites. Since they didn't get along, civilization fell apart. Edom is synonymous with Mount Seir. Mount Whitney is Mount Seir in the Sierra Nevadas. Edom is Rome. Edom destroyed the temple, the Israelites dispersed, and order continued to decay. These are melted buildings. Obviously melted buildings. These so-called pueblos are remnants of a melted metropolis. The survivors of the meltdown found refuge in these pockets of survival. Egypt is Mitzrayim. That's where we're getting Mississippi or Mitsori. This is Hamite land that stretched all the way to the Grand Canyon and Sedona or Sidon. Moab is said to be east of the Dead Sea in the Bible. Moab, Utah is east of the Dead Sea. The Moabites are the Moors. Moab's mom was his sister. He was a product of inbreeding. So Edom, which is Rome, took Jerusalem in 70 AD, which is actually 1070. And Rome, or Edom, fell in 476, which is actually 1476. The Spanish were Moorish slaves that revolted. The Spanish slaves took over the Moorish infrastructure in 1492. 48 years later, the Spanish finally reached the canyon. There was enough of a remnant of real aboriginals to hold them off for at least another 200 years, and so we have no history over this period. Nearby in the Pueblo Wars, aboriginals were being killed and shipped into Mexico for slavery. That's where many Afro-Mexicans and Afro-Cubans come from. By this point, most aboriginals are hybridized. It's a post-apocalyptic scenario with many wars. Pale colonists don't penetrate the canyon until 1869. Now 90% of it is off limits, especially the caves and mines, which are just corridors in the now melted metropolis. You can't even fly a drone over most of the canyon. Obviously, we get Kincaid's account in 1909, where he claims to find Egyptian artifacts. And then we get the unoriginal Hittite hybrid tribes placed there as a distraction. I don't think it's a coincidence that the canyon has all these Egyptian names, especially in Haunted Canyon. The whole desert out west is a post-apocalyptic area. I think these nukes were used to destroy something they didn't want people to see, because most of these detonations were done underground and done until 1992. Definitely meltology.
Meltology. Shout out to Taylor Durden. Reminds me of Tyler Durden from Fight Club. This is a very interesting theory right here. I do agree. I feel something melted these civilizations. The only question is what? I understand the mud flood and all, but like, what could melt these civilizations? And how big is the Grand Canyon? Like, yo, very fascinating.
So this was an 1862 news article. Barnum's Museum Grand National Baby Show. 100 beautiful babies will be on exhibition for prizes for which upwards of $2,000 cash will be distributed. So this is just a show for 100 beautiful babies, which makes me wonder, like, what the heck was happening in the 1800s where babies were such like a rarity that you could have a show of them. I mean, apparently they were all premature, they were all destitute children and whatnot, but you could just have a traveling show of just babies and, you know, afford to have a $2,000 cash prize as well. Kobe, did nobody ask, where are the parents? Did the parents agree for you to display these babies? These babies look premature. Where are the parents? So really, by my research, no. To be frank, everybody, I mean, in the mainstream today praises him as a complete hero, like you know, one of the heroes of modern medicine. There seems to be very little pushback or very little information, or people are like, hey, where's all these parents? Where's these, you know, where did these kids come from? Like, how did you get all these premature babies to show off in all these World's Fairs for almost 50 years? None of it makes sense, no. And what makes even less sense to me, and why I've always kind of pushed very deeply into this subject, is why nobody seems to be pushing those questions. Yeah, there's a lot of money lost.
Yo, it said Barnum's Museum. Is it the same Barnum from Barnum and Bailey Circus? Shout outs to I'm the Improbable Dreamer. It reminds me of American Horror Story. Circus. Like, that's wild. That's just wild. Like, how long has this circus been running? And when did Bailey come into the picture? Because it's obvious Barnum had a museum. That's wild.
Такие сугробы у нас. Метели. Собаки. Чтобы вы понимали, здесь 2,5 метра. Окна уже почти не видно с земли.
I told y'all these vampire bars in New Orleans were real, and the New Orleans vampires are real. This woman went to a random bar in the French Quarters with her friends. She said the bar had 2 levels. Her friend went to another level of the bar and took a picture of her on the dance floor. She also captured this standing next to her. A translucent bald man that looks like he's wearing like 18th or 19th century clothing. And no, it's not sucking her blood, it's taking something else. This is obviously an energy vampire. You can see her blue aura around her. And within him, you can see several blue dots illuminating that are the same color as that woman's aura around her. These vampires drain your energy. They drain your aura. And that's exactly what's happening here. And from the looks of it, this guy's been around a long time just by the attire that he's wearing. Now, if you don't know anything about the New Orleans vampires, it's been around since New Orleans came to be. Because New Orleans was such a intersection for all kinds of different cultures. French, African American, Caribbean. They believe that the vampires from these other places were attracted to New Orleans and started a whole new thing here. The vanishing vampire bars are real, and this vampire is a vampire, just not a traditional one.
Yeah, I believe energy vampires are real. Absolutely. I just didn't think they were ghosts. That's like the best apparition caught on camera I've ever seen. Shout outs to Chelsea. Whoa. Shout outs to New Orleans.
Hostel series were the most terrifying horror films ever made because they were based on real events. It revealed a complex trafficking ring amongst the elites. The way that the bidding system works, where they would pay a large sum of money to do whatever they wanted to their victims, including unaliving them. The idea for Hostel came when Eli Roth, the writer and director, was talking to Harry Knowles about stuff that he's seen on the dark webs, essentially snuff films, but also advertisements existing in the dark webs. And he sent him a link to the page where for a sum of money you can walk into a room and do whatever you wanted to your victim.
Some of the craziest stories and the scariest stories are many times true stories.
Hostel came from a conversation I had years ago with Harry Knowles, who runs the website Ain't It Cool News. And we were talking about disturbing things we'd seen on the internet. And Harry sent me a link to a page that advertised this place and walk into a room and shoot someone in the head.
Half of that money went to the victim's family. That the person in question was actually giving their life up to be killed. And that the $5,000 was sort of like their insurance policy.
Hostel is based on a true story. It was based on events actually happening. This movie exposed the rich, billionaires, government elites, politicians, members of law enforcement, a justice. Irony at its finest, right? What's interesting is Epstein's youngest victim, Sasha Riley. So in his testimony, essentially what happened is one of his fellow soldiers was caught with child tapes. And then the sergeant approached Sasha and said, victim in these videos look exactly like you, underage. This went into an investigation where this was just the tip of the iceberg. And this is when the survivor started speaking out. Sasha Riley describes in detail how he was trafficked to the elites, specifically Epstein and people surrounding him, and how there were many more children and victims like him, how so many other victims were unalived. Sasha Riley was trafficked by his own family, by his foster family. He was a kid. He was raised in the foster system. And that's exactly how they get their supply.
I've actually seen Cabin Fever about like 7 times. And I watch it with if a girl comes over, it's like a good movie to watch it with him.
Why the fuck is this guy always around with these topics? So sick of this guy. And this all ties to JonBenet Ramsey, I feel like. You can look up this report on justice.gov, where at the time, a 13-year-old girl was raped by and then forced to have her baby. And then this unreleased doc says that they unalived the baby and threw the baby into the lake off a yacht. Especially when you look at the map. And this point was very close to JonBenet Ramsey's family vacation home. And then, of course, the trafficking ring is right next to them, too. So this has been corroborated many times by many victims. People are just now starting to listen.
Yeah, that movie came across my mind the other day as well. I was thinking about all the ironies and the parallels to what we see today. Shout out to Savente Chanel. But that last case she was just talking about, yo, that's wild. Like, imagine if it was all connected. Like, that's disturbingly creepy. Like, for real.
A lot of people are taking a closer look at his relationship with his daughter, Ivanka. In his first term, this picture circulated of Ivanka taking a tour with her father. This picture got the attention of body language experts and also those of us who aced our Psych 101 class and think we know lots of things. I've never seen Donald Trump stand this way before, but then again, I've never seen him stand over a bed. Based on the way Ivanka is protecting her privates, I would say she can't say the same. That's not a joke. Now, most of us have seen this video.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
You can hear Ivanka being the first to laugh, which ironically is a way of showing her discomfort and taking her power back. Her father says something that makes her uncomfortable, but she comes in kind of overpowering it with this laugh that comes out first.
Perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
Right before he makes this comment, they're laughing about something else. He starts talking and she turns her head, and the first thing he says is, if she weren't my daughter. Look how her face drops.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
I'm thinking this isn't the first time she's heard this.
Daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know?
The next time you hear somebody say that Biden is creepy, I would remind them that Donald Trump on national television announced to the world he wants to his daughter. Not only does her head go forward, she shakes it. If we're embarrassed or ashamed or upset about something, our head goes down. You don't need a Psych 101 class to figure that one out. It's when Joy, whatever her name is, says, "That's so weird." She brings her head back up and nodding like her feelings are validated. Oh, it's so weird. And then Joy says, "You know what? You are sick." And Ivanka nods in agreement.
You know what? You are sick.
Yeah. She does not turn her head back toward her father until he drops it, because in the meanwhile he's saying, "Is that terrible? Is that so terrible?"
Oh, you're known for saying outrageous things, Mr. Trump.
You're known for saying outrageous things, Mr. Trump. Ivanka turns her head, almost like she wants to see his reaction. What's kind of sad about this is that I bet she has never before had 4 women in the same room calling it out. Speaking of sad, this is the latest clip making the rounds.
My interesting attempt at color painting.
She's been giving this tour and laughing, and she's at a good place. You're going to notice that change.
The Bon Jovi sort of wall.
Okay, here it comes, and this.
This was my bed. This was my bed. This was my bed. It's a little small for me now.
The awkward laughter is soon followed by an awkward pause.
Probably why I don't stay near anymore, but yeah. Near anymore, but yeah. 68th floor. Not a bad view to wake up to.
And deflects. Considering the circumstances, I don't blame her.
That was really weird. I'm sure she was embarrassed. Shout outs to What the Feet. I've seen that footage before. I just never seen it break down like this. And with the times that we're in, it makes you take a closer look.
Is killing people peaceful? No, we're not gonna back off. We're running to the fucking police. We're not gonna back up until y'all fucking do. The fuck up! Get on the train and go, dude. When you get outside, take a left.
Are you parked here or like what are we doing?
Walking around. They're just running away. Cowards. Get down to the floor, get on the train. We gotta go. Go home. They don't want to go to the floor. Get the fuck out!
Leave him alone! They just ran into somebody as they drove away.
What's that gonna mean?
This is a white supremacist agenda.
Why do you say that?
Fuck off.
No, me, dude. I'm
You're
not
on
here.
Whose team are you on?
Come on, man.
Don Lemon.
This is Don Lemon.
All right, man.
All right. Well,
sorry, brother.
I'm so sorry.
Like, really? No, I'm so sorry.
On our team.
Yeah. So why do you say that?
This is a white supremacist agenda. They're not just going after criminals. I'm so sorry I went after you there. I didn't recognize
Do
you.
I look upset?
There's all kinds of folks out here with media. They're not just going after criminals. They're going door to door and they're targeting any black and brown person they can find. And all of America is next. If you live by a black or brown person, you're next. They're above the law. They outnumber our police. It's a white supremacist agenda. No?
You just today's your first.
I live nearby. I've been out a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. But why do you come
I'm so
out?
sorry I went after you, man.
Dude, it's fine. Why are you out here instead of like being in your warm, cozy house?
Because there's a point where whites got to stand up and recognize that this is a white person problem and we need to represent our black and brown neighbors and disavow MAGA.
Yeah.
We need to put an end to this. We need to put an end to this. We fucked up so bad. This is the end result of all of the bigotry and racism that we have been putting up with for years. This is the logical conclusion.
What do you think is going to happen? Where does this end? How does it end?
I don't know. I don't know. What do?
Yeah.
I talk to anyone who will listen, and I disavow every MAGA person I've ever known. They have no place in my heart. This kind of hatred.
Yeah.
No, if you can't stand 10 toes down and say that trans people, black and brown people
Have a good day.
have a right to exist and that women have a right over their own body, then you have no place in my heart. And you have no place in the fucking future. Because we're going to have a bright future.
Well, I'm happy they was able to have a civil conversation. Shout out to Don Lemon being in the streets. And I wouldn't say I'm a Don Lemon fan either, but journalism is journalism, especially if it's independent, boots on the ground. I would say that was a peaceful encounter.
Yesterday at Minneapolis City Hall, we saw the script flipping in real time. Jake Lang,
the pardoned January 6th rioter and Florida Senate hopeful, didn't just show up, he came to ignite a powder keg during the anti-ICE protests. Lang spent weeks on X calling for crusaders to take back Minnesota. And when he arrived at City Hall, he began shouting at the people, threatening to burn a Quran in the middle of a grieving Somalian community. This is a man whose digital trail is a sewer of the system's worst poisons. Just months ago in Dearborn, he was caught on film making monkey noises at teenagers and calling people of color chimps. He calls for protesters against ICE to be crushed by the military and champions the federal agents terrorizing our neighborhoods. But here is the irony the elites can't program. When his own incitement turned the tide against him and he was cornered, bleeding, and fleeing toward Hotel Indigo, it wasn't his crusaders or the police who saved him. The system's police had vanished, leaving the chaos they typically love to profit from. Instead, two black men who were there protesting ICE, the very people Lang has spent his career demonizing, stepped into the gap. These leftist protesters, there to stand against ICE, used their own bodies to shield a man who considers them enemies of the state. They showed the world that us, the citizens, possess a humanity the system of control is terrified of. Lang is now calling this a lynching just so he can fundraise off his base, but we saw the videos and we saw the truth. While he peddles hate, just like our own government to keep us divided, the people showed that even a provocateur is a human life and took action for humanity's sake. The elites want a race war or a war between civilians over beliefs, but the people gave them a lesson in grace. Keep your eyes open, because their script is breaking right in front of you. We do not forgive, we do not forget. Anonymously enlightening out.
That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed the deep dive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Shout outs to all the reactors. Thanks again. Till next time.